All right, hey everyone, how are you doing? So, this is going to be kind of like a new quick, I don't know why I say quick, because it's probably not going to be quick, but it's going to be a new series called Getting Passionate with DNC. It's kind of like an up close and personal kind of series that I'm only releasing on Patreon. And that's because some Patreon family members, they go hard in the paint for me. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. I dedicated my fifth book. Like, they are in the thank you, the dedication part of my book. So, Patreon fan, if you haven't, like, got into it, please know that you in here too, you know? But I wanted to do a series. I don't know why it hadn't hit me any earlier, but we here now, right? But I really don't get into the juice box behind my books unless like I'm at a book club or I'm at an event and things like that. So I just want to double back a little bit and get into my books. However, we gonna start with the most recent book, the fifth book, lucky number 5, and that is Untraditional, Volume 2. Now, first book, Untraditional. It's a collection of passion-fied short stories. This right here is truly the evolution. If you've been like following the other videos that I put on here, baby, the evolution is visible. Okay? So I'm going to do several series on this book. There's 5 short stories. And I'm going to get into it. I'm going to give you the background on like where the inspo comes from, what I kind of hope people get from it. And then like, because even when I say that, and that's probably why I don't do a lot of these or why I haven't done a lot of them, because as the reader, I don't want to deter you from thinking what you're thinking. It's more so you know from the author's point of view, what, as I was typing, writing, editing, what was it that really came across my mind. So I'm really gonna dive into like this book first. We'll double back to this and all the other ones that I have, but we're gonna start with the 5th book, Untraditional, Volume 2, which is the evolution of Passion-Fi. So for those who aren't used to Passion-Fi, it's just a shortened term for passionate fiction. That is a term that I coined. That is not a genre you're gonna see floating around, or you can Google, or Barnes and Noble is gonna have, at least not yet. But to me, I felt like my writing didn't just hit on contemporary romance, and I started publishing books in 2015. Is that right? Yes, 2015, December 2015. But I felt like my writing, because I mixed it with poetry, to kind of intro some of the stories in my very first book, I felt like it really wasn't contemporary, and I also didn't feel like it was fully erotica. At some point, I'm gonna let y'all know, in between me writing my first book and writing my 5th book, women's fiction came in there. So it could fall a little bit more in that, but passionate fiction it is, because guess who coined it? Get into it, okay? All right. So passionate fiction, it's just really the marriage of contemporary romance with erotica, with a poetic tone. We talking about emotions, powerful emotions. We're talking about untraditional situations, like, I know people write sometimes fictitiously, as in like, that could never happen. I write fictitiously because these aren't stories that actually have happened, but I do feel like they have some reality to them. Like, you can make my stories come true if you deem necessary. I'm just not liable for any children made when reading my books, or any trouble you get into it. So don't come to me trying to sue me over the encounters you encounter after reading my book. Please don't come to me about that, because I'm not going to I got lawyers on standby, okay? We're not doing that, all right? All right. Quick little plug. All right. So I'm going to start off this very first episode with just talking about the book overall, and just what you can expect from Volume 2 versus Volume 1. So, Volume 1, I wrote this for at least 5 years. And I only say at least because I graduated from college in 2006. I've been writing nasty, freaky, indulging stories since I was in college. I didn't even start sharing them out though until I was like a senior in college. So a lot of these stories have been sitting there on my hard drive for a while. And I finally came up with the confidence, thanks to my wonderful friends, to just publish the stories. And yeah, sure, I was like, oh, it's not enough, but baby, it gives you a lot. I will say one of the most popular pieces of feedback that I received on this one, it just made you want more. I want more. Hence, this book, people don't necessarily want more. They're like, I can see a book on that, but thank you for fulfilling my hunger and getting me the ins and outs of these stories. Hence, being a tad bit thicker. But truly, like, Untraditional Volume 2, like, going back to one was like, you got college crushes in there, you got like entry-level positions in there, you've got kind of like early on understanding, like trying to learn more about your sexual lifestyle. Like, how do you want to live? How do you want to be perceived? Do you care if you want to be perceived? Kind of going through, I feel like, what a lot of women went through early 20s, right? Maybe even, early 30s for some, But I feel like this book is it touches on that. So I won't say it's for that group, because we all need to read it, because it just, even for those who have made it past that point, it's reminiscence, right? You can still relate to it. Volume 2 is definitely for the women who are like, yes, I've been in my position. I know what I am, what I want to do. I've been married. I've been through the traumas and dramas of a relationship. I'm later on in life. I may be 30 plus, 35 plus, 40 plus. You know what I'm saying? This book is really touching on the maturity of like understanding what your sexuality is, right? You know exactly what it is, but have you truly fulfilled it to a point where you should, right? So like, this book really allowed me to take my imagination to that level of, all right, I learned this from book 1, but who am I now? Who do I want people to learn about themselves now? Like, what are the components of, like, for instance, your confidence and sexuality? You should be able to talk about it. And if you don't have a partner that you can't talk about it with, why are you with that partner? Like, we're at an age right now where, excuse my language, bullshit is bullshit, and nobody has time to fluff anything up to make others feel good. Honestly, reminds me of all this stuff going on with Angel Reese right now, where she's just being her and the shit. She's young, but she's mature because she understands the limelight, right? So I feel like as Black women, I'll take it even further. We'll start right there. Women, we're supposed to be these beings who are supposed to just receive or give sexually, right? That's what we've been taught to be. Now we want to not only give, we want to receive, and we want you to understand what we want to receive, right? This book really touches on that factor, right? And some of the receiving isn't just sexual, it's intimacy, right? There are times, I'm gonna pull out some wine, because if you're a part of my wine down club, my book club, or even my podcast with my sister cousin, she's more like a cousin, which I don't think we sisters. Whatever, you're racist. Don't be that. Don't do that all your life. Anyway, yes, I'm about to drink mine. Hold on. So, I feel like intimacy is something that we don't. I'll speak for myself, and maybe even my generation. I think I have my generation comment on this part. We didn't learn the art of intimacy, and I know it's because of the culture we grew up in, right? Sure, we saw grandma and grandpa. They may have intimacy, but we just thought it was lovey-dovey, corny stuff. No disrespect to them. We couldn't relate to it because we got Luke, we got Sir Mix-a-Lot, we got, tennis skirts, We got percolators. We got all this stuff, all this cultural dances, songs, and things that have taught us about as women. We got Lil' Kim, you know what I'm saying? We got Adina Howard, freak in the morning, freak in the evening, just like me. That is my jam, don't get it wrong. But we really didn't truly learn the art of intimacy. We've had some great, like, people come through, like R&B artists to sing some, what's her name? Johnna's got a man at home. That just means he at home. That don't mean intimacy. Either way, we didn't learn that. So in our later lives, I think we start realizing that we're missing that piece. Like when it comes to our sexual journeys, like we love the physical aspect of it. We love the directness of it. We want to hear what you want to do. We get it. We want it. But what keeps us is that intimacy. And so I really try to figure out how to make that intimacy live larger in this book. And it's not just the intimacy of like a couple, it's intimacy of self, right? It's intimacy of healing. It's intimacy of like failures, missteps, judgments, things like there's an avenue, and there's a chapter in here too that like people would think it's like a fangirl groupie type of chapter, but it's really not. It's a woman who desires a certain level of connectivity with a person who feels like she couldn't dare set that expectation to reach him in that manner. Forget just the physical, she just want a damn hug or a call. Those are things that we didn't think about in our generation, our millennial generation, was intimate. You know, if I sit here, I'm working on like another story, young adult story, being on the phone, having conversations, falling asleep on the phone in our generation was actually intimacy, but we never really like knew that, right? So now we hate being on the phone, hate being on the phone. Let's talk in person, let's text, all this FaceTime and stuff, like it's too much. I got shit to do. Don't FaceTime me all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like we didn't know that could be intimacy until now. So like I'm very, very proud. I'm gonna wrap this up because this is just the intro of the book. I'm very, very proud of this book because as a woman who will hit that gorgeous number of 4-0 this year, right? I'm proud to speak for a lot of us who have yet to understand the value of intimacy, because we've learned so much, and now hell, if you go on like social media, they're gonna show you a lot of different stuff too. They're gonna show you a lot of physical, a lot of firmness. You're gonna get like, I want to eat, sleep, and wake up with inside of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but there's something else. Where's the embrace, right? Where is the hand holding? Where is the neck kissing? Where is the intellectual engagement that makes this, I think they're called sapiosexuals or something like that gets your mind going. Like, I feel like a lot of women at my age, sure, physical is cool, but it's the intellectual part of us that really gets us revved up at this point. So this book touches on it. So that's my plug. Passionate Patreons, if you have not gotten this yet, you do have the ebook available, and I believe it's the $5 tier, which is the third tier. But you can also, there's a discount in the group. I'll try to drop it in this post too, for you to get an autograph version. So please go ahead, order your autograph version, because I'm gonna keep dropping these episodes, and I do not want to give you spoilers, but let me tell you this. You need spoilers if you ain't got into this book. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just, I'm so proud of it. I'm so freaking proud of it. And I wrote it definitely within like 2 years. Yeah, it's so dope. So that's it. Episode 1, Get Passionate with DNC, up close and personal. So drop your notes, question here, and I'll answer the next one. Peace, my people.